Something about this week in NASCAR feels different. And I do not just mean on the track, I mean in the lineups, in the opportunities, in who is getting chances and who suddenly is not. We are hitting that point in the 2026 season where things start quietly shifting behind the scenes, and if you are only paying attention to the championship standings, you are missing some of the most interesting storylines building heading into this weekend. Because heading into the Cookout 400 at Martinsville Speedway, we have not just one, but two significant developments that are going to change how this race plays out. Two stories that might not grab the biggest headlines, but when you actually think through what they mean, for drivers, for organizations, and for the championship picture, this weekend has the potential to be a genuine turning point for several people on that entry list. Today, we are breaking down both of them completely. The lineup changes that matter most heading into Martinsville, the return of a car that went missing for 2 straight race weekends, and the double-duty situation that has 3 different drivers attempting to pull off one of the most physically and mentally demanding challenges in all of motorsports at one of the hardest tracks on the entire schedule. Before we get into it, subscribe to NASCAR Report right now if you are a real NASCAR fan who watches every race and wants to talk about this sport every single week. Let us start with what the Martinsville entry list actually looks like this weekend, because compared to Darlington, there are some meaningful changes that deserve a real conversation. First, the Alex Bowman situation continues. He is still sidelined dealing with vertigo, and at this point, the number 48 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet has become almost as much just an Allgaier story as it is Bowman's. Allgaier steps in once again at Martinsville, and look, he has done a solid job in that seat. Nobody is questioning that, but Martinsville is a completely different animal from the tracks he's filled in at so far. This is a half-mile paperclip where experience and rhythm and track knowledge matters more than raw speed. Allgaier has won at Martinsville in the O'Reilly Series before, so he's not walking in blind, but filling in for a Hendrick Motorsports driver at one of the most difficult and chaotic tracks on the schedule is a challenge unlike anything else on the calendar. Now here's the change that is quietly becoming one of the more interesting storylines on the 2026 entry lists. The number 66 Ford from Garage 66, which ran at Darlington with Timmy Hill before having issues early and never really getting into the race, is completely off the entry list for Martinsville. Gone. That car is expected to return at Bristol after the Easter break with Chad Fincham behind the wheel. Josh Bilicki is also scheduled for another start later in the season with that program, and there are still 5 race weekends where the team has not even named a driver yet. So that organization has a lot of moving pieces still to be sorted out. But in place of the number 66 this weekend comes the return of a car that has been missing for the past 2 race weekends, the number 33 Chevrolet from Richard Childress Racing, and the driver climbing into it is Austin Hill. Here's what makes this interesting. Hill has never made a Cup Series start at Martinsville Speedway before, not once. And Martinsville is not the kind of track where you show up cold and feel comfortable on lap 1. This is a track that demands rhythm, patience, and understanding of the bumps and grooves and the way the track changes over a run. It's not about having the fastest car. It's about reading the race, surviving the chaos, making smart decisions when the hard racing gets going, and not making the kind of mistakes that Martinsville punishes you for in the most brutal way. So Austin Hill is walking into that situation for the very first time in a Cup car this weekend. That's a real challenge, and how he handles it tells you something important about whether he's ready for more opportunities at this level. Now here's the story that really got my attention this week, because Martinsville is getting not just 1, not just 2, but 3 drivers attempting double duty across the Cup Series and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series on the same weekend at the same track. 3 drivers, double duty, same track, same weekend. That's not normal. When you zoom out and look at the full Martinsville entry list, it's exactly what you want heading into one of the most chaotic tracks of the year. Tyler Reddick chasing his 5th win in 7 races. Denny Hamlin at a track where he has 6 career victories. Chase Elliott, Wyan Byron, and Kyle Larson, and the full Hendrick Motorsports machine minus Bowman. Brad Keselowski and RFK Racing coming off a near miss at Darlington. Bubba Wallace and Ty Gibbs pushing to build on strong early season results. Joey Logano trying to bounce back. Ross Chastain trying to reset his season. And Shane Van Gisbergen sitting 5th in points, about to face one of the toughest oval tests of his career. Martinsville is one of those tracks where the unexpected happens, where strategy matters, where aggression gets rewarded and patience gets tested, where a driver who shouldn't win somehow does, and a driver who has the fastest car ends up in the wall before the checkered flag. One good run here changes everything. One bad day follows you for weeks. And with 3 double-duty drivers, a first-timer in the number 33, and Allgaier carrying Hendrick Motorsports equipment without the man who is supposed to be in it, this weekend has more storylines than almost any race we've had in 2026 so far. Drop your take in the comments. Do you think Austin Hill handles Martinsville in his first Cup start there? Does Chastain's double duty actually give him a real edge on Sunday? And who are you watching the closest this weekend? Subscribe to NASCAR Report for this conversation every single week. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you at Martinsville.